Sheep on acid. This computer. Hello and welcome back to Sheep on Acid, the podcast, the factual podcast with not very many facts. Jaysson, I believe you want to inform the people of what we had on the last episode.
If you want to know why Jesus' foreskin is buried in the Chinese pyramids along with other such craziness, tune in to last time on, what do you call it again? Sheep on Acid.
Sheep on Acid.
Episode 1.
Just as well, we want everyone to know that many sheep were harmed in the making of this podcast as we fed them bucketfuls of acid and they're still tripping out in the field. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Also, I just caught my beard in the tabby bit of my can. It hurt.
And we need your disclaimer that it's probably not children compatible.
Oh, yeah. Very important. This podcast is made for and aimed at adults, preferably with a sense of humor. If you get offended easily and or are a child, click off now. And if you're a parent of a child listening to this podcast with a child, then you should probably kick them out of the car you're traveling in at whatever speed you're traveling at. Just get rid of them. Get rid of them now.
Probably should have done that before the foreskin part.
All children need to know what foreskin is anyway.
I'd say we
also
could get
Jesus.
We could get more complaints about the disclaimers than the content of it.
It's possible.
Last week they were getting locked in cupboards. This week they're getting kicked out of moving cars.
So what are we talking about today, Eoin?
Today we're going to talk about the recently released gaming consoles. So the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5.
Sounds good. And a very important piece as well. We are all consuming alcohol during this podcast. What's everyone drinking?
I'm on the White Hag. It's pumpkin ale. So White Hag are a brewing company up in Sligo. They release they have a couple of beers they release. They're out all year. This is their season stuff. It's November time. We just had Halloween, so they came out with a pumpkin ale. So yes. And Eoin has had this, and it's absolutely wonderful.
It must have paid you a lot to say that.
It didn't. Darren just loves alcohol. What about you, Jaysson? What are you drinking?
Alcohol, yes.
Standard Coors Light. I know.
Move on, Eoin.
Darren's on the White Hag. I'm on the White Claw.
Eoin. I am also basic as hell. I'm also White Claw. Yeah.
Which is worse, Coors Light or White Claw?
Coors Light every day of the week.
Despicable human. No, fuck you. You're all despicable.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws.
We said we were drinking cans, and Jay's the only one that showed up drinking cans.
This is in a can.
Ye showed up drinking sparkling water with its off taste of vodka. That is just fucking piss.
You know I have a sensitive stomach, Darren.
Yeah, that's where it comes in for me.
Get thoroughly watching.
Anyway, to jump on to the Xbox versus PlayStation 5 discussion, and it's not even a versus because I think if you're someone like me, you probably want to own both. But we're going to talk about why they're different and in what ways they're different. But to start off, and I will say that for the previous generation, other than games, I did end up leaning a bit more towards Xbox One. I still use my Xbox One a hell of a lot more than I use my PlayStation. Nothing particularly wrong with the PlayStation. I just think the Xbox works that little bit better. It's that little bit faster and it's that little bit better looking. And the controller is far superior. But to kick off, the Xbox Series X configuraciones, the specifications. The CPU.
Whoa, wait.
Sí.
Spanish. No Spanish.
Lo siento. Sorry. Okay, no more Spanish. So the CPU is a 3.8 gigahertz. Spanish. Anyway, I don't know. It's a 3.8 gigahertz AMD-based Zen 2 processor. The GPU is a 12 teraflop AMD RDNA GPU with 52 compute units. The memory is 16 gigabytes. That's RAM. Storage memory is 1 terabyte NVMe SSD, that's a lot. The maximum resolution is 8K. I don't think human eyes can even do that. And the max frame rate being 120 frames per second. Now, the other important things to notice here are there's plenty of connectivity ports, the same as there is in everything these days. And it's massive. Okay, important to point out. It is a big
which
chunk
one's
of
this?
plastic. That's the Xbox. Yeah, the PlayStation.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
So for the PS5, the CPU is an AMD Zen 2 based as well, at 3.5 gigahertz, so slightly slower than the Xbox. And something that's also important to note is that's 3.5 gigahertz with its like boost setting, so it's actually generally lower than that. So very important to note that. That's kind of basically when it's boosted, it's still slower than the Xbox. The GPU is 10.28 teraflops, which is also slower than the
What's a teraflop?
It's like 1.5 down on the Xbox, right?
Yeah, about 1.5 down.
Yeah.
A teraflop is just a measure of speed for computations, basically on a GPU.
With a hilarious name.
With a hilarious
Yes.
name. The GPU architecture is actually very similar as well to the Xbox. It's a custom RDNA 2 chip, which is pretty cool that they went custom. And I have a feeling that's for form factor and also cooling, because we know PlayStations have had problems with cooling in the past. The memory again is a 16 gigabyte GDDR6 RAM, and the internal storage is 825 gigabyte SSD. So not an NVMe, just an SSD, and also again lower than the Xbox. So that's some specs to focus in. And go on. You're going to say something.
So,
there?
but the kind of comparison I'm seeing is like the PlayStation is a little bit behind on the GPU, but they've a custom controller on the SSD, which is supposed to be a good bit quicker than the Xbox. So I think they kind of balance out. Like you see that you named out the CPUs are fairly similar. The RAM, like the memory is fairly similar. They're all on the same architecture. Like they're going to be fairly similar in all regards.
Hold on, the rescue kitten is meowing at me. I'm just going to pick this up. I agree, and I think to be honest, a lot of the time they're buying this stuff. Like to say that your PS5, your Xbox Series X is coming in at the price they are coming in at, which I think is about what 500 euro in Ireland.
500 euro each, yeah.
500 euro each in Ireland. That is incredibly cheap.
That is not bad.
No,
Yeah,
when you think about it, that's really cheap for what is a high end computer essentially. So they're buying parts bin base, parts that have been developed specifically for this, and they're buying a lot of them, and that's how they're making them this price.
And they sell them at a loss, but especially so some like this Series S. I know we'll get into it, but there's a cheaper model. It's 300 euro, and like for that price, you can't build a PC that does like 1440p and ray tracing and comes with like a decent 50-60 euro controller.
Yeah,
for 300 quid. Like, so consoles as a whole, like they're really, really good value.
and
Exceptionally
is
good.
the PS5 disc drive less version? Is
It's
that similar?
400. It's
Is that
400.
Yeah.
All right, so it goes Xbox Series S is 3, then a discless drive of the PS5 is 4, and the other 2 are 5.
Yeah.
All right, so the PS5 discless drive, you're actually getting the same thing as like a normal PS5, just without a disc drive.
Exactly.
And the Xbox Series X then is a lesser version of the X then.
Yeah. Essentially.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So
pretty
this-
much. So they both have like different strategies on it, but like there's kind of all price bases covered,
And
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest though. One thing for me, like if this was again like a lot of us, we want to buy both eventually.
Yeah.
Right? Most gamers, that's kind of their you want both. For all the exclusives and stuff. We'll talk about that later. But the big thing for me is which would I buy first? Because as Eoin was saying, they sell them at a loss for the first while, so they really need to pump out volume. That's what the whole thing is about: is volume. Get out as many as you can and sell as many games as you can. What would I buy first? Just straight off the bat, the Xbox, and there's one very good reason for that: is it has more internal storage, possibly slower, fair enough, but it's also expandable from day one. The PlayStation 5 has a lower internal storage. Apparently is coming with only half a terabyte usable from the box. So it's 800 and something. What is it? 800 and...
It's 825
Yeah.
SSD, and then I think it's 664 usable.
I've heard
which
even
is-
lower ones.
It's
the first
pretty
update
trim, like
patches.
it's pretty,
Yeah, it's not
pretty
great.
slim.
And most importantly, it's not expandable from day one. PlayStation have said it's coming in the future, but on release day, it's not expandable, which is
painful.
I just don't think that's really good enough, especially since the first. Now, look, and again, I'm talking about tripe games, but we'll get to that as well. You know, the first Call of Duty one.
Oh, stop!
Which,
Call of Duty Warzone.
Something like that. It's over 100 gigabytes.
Oh no! Like one of the updates for that game, because I had it for a while, was 200 gig. Like the update and all that was 200 gig for that game.
Jesus.
So if you have,
which is mad because it's like the Fortnite of Call of Duty. Like there's nothing special in there.
No. So basically, like that would be just about a quarter of your memory on one fucking game.
Yeah. So you can have 4 games.
I have I got my Xbox One. It was one of the first. No, it was like after like 6 or 7 months it was out. It wasn't. It was like a year. So there was no new versions to it. And like there was a terabyte version, but I was like, I couldn't be bothered spending. At that time, games were about 80, 90 gig anyway. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll buy the 500 gig one. And it's only now in the last, what?
That was a mistake.
Now it was, but as like, because I only have like 5 games on it now. But for a long time, I had 10, like, no problem. Like, when I say 10, but maybe, A9 was grand. But it's only in the last 2 years where it's become a problem to have 6 or 7 games on a console.
And on the other side, I've had a PS4. I bought a 500 gig PS4 to begin with, and I upgraded it to a 1 terabyte drive myself. And still, the last 2 years, every time I get a game, has been a constant struggle of delete this, keep this. I'll keep the games that I have on disc because it'll be easy to install that again. But something that I have to wait to download for 2 hours.
And that's another thing.
That's a pain.
We're gonna talk about the discs.
Yeah.
Just to jump in quick, because right now the 3 of us are going a bit nerd crazier, because for the viewers at home it's important to point out myself, Eoin and Darren are massive nerds. However, we do also have the average standard common gaming man in the audience.
Here we go.
Listen, everything we've just talked about, do you give a shit?
No, you said a lot of words there to start, Mike, and I couldn't give a shite.
But you do own an Xbox, yeah?
I do own an Xbox, and I'll give you the path to an Xbox where I got, right? I got a PlayStation 1 when I was, I don't know, 7. Because that was the shit back then. PlayStation. I
feel we're gonna have to cut out his life history here. Go on, Jaysson.
And then we got to PlayStation 2. But the only reason I switched to Xbox was because Xbox 360 came out before the PS3, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was way cheaper.
And it was way cheaper. And then I've just stuck with Xbox from then on.
Because you're a simple man.
Exactly. Like what is the difference? There's going to be no difference. Now I know it's more of I'm team PlayStation, I'm team Xbox, and that's kind of what it is. In my eyes, that's what it is.
Not even for a lot of people. Like I have both.
Yeah.
But like we spelled out the specs at the start, there's very little difference. There's an edge to the Xbox this time around. Yeah. Initially, there was an edge to the PlayStation last time around. When it comes down to it, like if someone's out there like thinking about buying these things, kind of go with like it's always been the case. Go with what your friends have. So like if you want to be playing Call of Duty or FIFA against your friends, don't get stuck on the one that they don't have.
Well, aren't a lot of these games though going cross-playable? So the cross-platform playable.
Talk about this.
To a degree.
There's to a degree, yeah. But that stuff mightn't even be a factor in the future. I was kind of the same as Jay. I had a PS1 starting off, PS2. We changed to 360 because price, and it was just a better console at the time. It was like more gaming. I didn't need any of the media stuff. It was just easier to use. Then I kept with Xbox One with the last gen, the next gen, and then we'll get on that. And now, Blake is laughing. So then I got the PS4 Pro then, and like it was grand. But the only reason I got it was I'm coming to my point now. The reason I got it was because of the exclusives.
Yeah.
About a year into the Xbox when I got it, I was like, okay, there's a few decent games out there. I looked across at the PS4. What do they have? Oh, they God of War. Oh, there's a new Spider-Man coming out. Oh, Horizon Zero Dawn is out. And they had just like 10 or 12 games that were like exclusives that were unbelievable. And I looked at the Xbox ones. That Gears of War, love that game. Love the franchise, unbelievable. I saw Halo and I was like, I'm not a Halo player. They're grand, but it's me. And then that was it. I kind of looked and went, is there any other games there that I want to play that's Xbox exclusive, and I literally couldn't.
And I think that's one thing that PlayStation have held over Microsoft for a long time, because even if you look at like reliability, the Xbox One, or apart from the original Xbox and the original Xbox 360, the Xbox 360 Slim, from then on, Xbox have just annihilated PlayStation in terms of reliability. But for the exclusives, absolutely agreed. PlayStation have hammered Xbox, and it's actually the reason I went and bought a PS4 as well, was so I could play Horizon Zero Dawn, Ratchet and Clank, Gran Turismo, etc. But Xbox, Microsoft bought Bethesda.
Yeah, the reliability thing, I didn't know it was this bad at the time, but like when I was back in secondary school, I was always Sony fanboy. I had a PS1 that was handed down from a cousin, got a PS2, then I got really lucky with the PS3. I didn't have to shell out the 660 quid that it was at the time. My cousin moved to Australia and was like, right, do you want my PS3 while I'm gone? And I got to use that for its whole life, whatever.
Forever.
That was great. He came home and bought another PS3 for himself, you know. But
what does he do?
But like the 360
sells drugs.
The 360, all my friends were around me with 360s, and they were all dying, and like they'd get it fixed, and then it was dying again. I only found out recently. So the Red Ring of Death was actually a 50% failure rate on the original.
On the initial ones, yeah, it was terrible.
And then in later years, I own a 360. I think it's the Elite or Slim. It's like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 special edition. It's cool looking console.
One second, just pause for that. What's that background noise?
Can you hear that?
Yeah.
One of my cats is at the door.
It's actually pretty loud. That's why I said I called it.
It was very loud, yeah. The Xbox...
That's a cat.
Wait a sec, I'm going to let this guy outside.
All right.
I thought it was going to be the kitten, and I was like, this fucking cunt, but it's the older one. Fuck that.
I had the original 360 as well. It was like, I think it was like 500 gig at the time, like the proper original one.
Actually, we can keep going. Yeah, go.
No, but I had that. I know we can. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just saying my own personal thing. But I got the Red Ring of Death on it once, and that's because my sister kicked over the Xbox while it was playing by accident.
Nice.
So the disc did the scratchy thing, because
the classic scratchy thing.
Yeah, the stupid idea of having a lip on the disc drive. So any bit of movement, your disc would go up onto this lip and fucking scratch.
Destroy it.
Yeah, just literally destroy it. And then the Red Ring came on, and it was like there's like a few different stages of it. There's like one light is on, it's this. If it's two lights, it's this. I got the third light, which is I just need to change the power adapter or something like that, and that was it was perfect then for. It was perfect for its life. I gave it to one of the guys in work, wanted a console for his son, but didn't want to flash out on the Xbox One. And I had the 360 lying around. I was like, here, fucking take it. So it worked perfectly. I think it's still working to this day. So I think I was lucky with the original 360 one. That was the case.
I think, well, like as Eoin said, it was a 50% failure rate. So lucky, 1 and 2 is pretty. That's low.
Pretty shocking.
I think only a company as big as Microsoft could survive that failure rate. You know?
They survived it by, in fairness, like when the Xbox 360 Slim, which I still have, came out, that is a tank. I mean, I have played hundreds of hours of games. No, to be honest, it's well over 1,000 hours of games. Like I played through the entirety of Skyrim on the Xbox on that, which was over 500 hours and probably 200 hours at just bloody loading screens.
And 300 hours of smithing daggers.
I did stay awake very, very late one night. By very late, I mean like until 5:30 the next morning, just smithing daggers so I could get to smithing.
That was the first 100. Week it was out. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. That was such a good time. Such a good time. It was funny because actually Declan just used to come in and just watch me play it all the time. Let's sit in the bed and be like, "What are you doing now?" Like smithing daggers. Anyway, we're getting off topic. But the important, actually, now that we mentioned Skyrim, Microsoft buying Bethesda, while Microsoft say that they'll honor, cross-platform deals and stuff that are there, we can only assume they'll do that for so long. You don't spend billions acquiring a publisher like Bethesda without looking to gain that money back. And how do you gain that money back? But by doing what PlayStation have been doing for the last, how many years, 15 odd years, by crippling your opposition, by having absolutely brilliant exclusives. So I can't see Microsoft not taking that opportunity. I really
list off a few of Bethesda's games there, just because like
1 second.
Elder
I'll actually
yeah,
get
yeah.
them.
Because just
Yeah.
for the sake of like the normal player base,
Yeah.
like
Well-
Jay, I personally don't play any of their games. That's what I found is like
Yeah, but you suck. So
I'm kind of
fuck
weird
you,
that
man.
way. I'm kind of weird that I've always never cared about the Elder Scrolls games.
Piece of shit.
Fallout.
No.
Yeah,
Fallout. I had Fallout 3, didn't get into it, didn't care.
What like?
Like
People human.
Uber nerds will care about it, but like the player base as a whole, may
Yeah,
not.
but Uber nerds spend
But
a
it will.
lot of money.
It will. Yeah, oh yeah, it'll sell. It'll
I
help.
bet you drink White Claw, don't you? Oh wait, we discussed this. Fuck you.
The main ones, though, to be honest, the only big games of note that Bethesda directly publish and create are the Elder Scrolls, Doom, Fallout. They did Prey,
yeah.
Wolfenstein, Dishonored. They own Arkham, or is it Arkham, or what's the publisher?
No,
of
they're
Dishonored?
Arcane.
Arkham was-
Arcane. Yeah, Arkham is for Batman.
Yeah.
But so there are some absolutely massive titles there. But
Yeah.
but just to put this into perspective, right? Owen, for you, I know you said Uber nerds, and you're correct. You're correct.
Yeah.
It is mainly going to be Uber nerds who really care. GTA is colossal. Imagine
Massive.
GTA. Rockstar came out and said we're only
Yeah.
publishing on the PlayStation. Like
It was
the same-
throwing the console war altogether. Like
straight away.
Or they-
And Skyrim
yeah.
has sold an incredible amount of units. I'll actually check how many
But
games.
it's a bit like last generation. It was last generation when FIFA was released. It was like where it played. Like it was one of the adverts of it as like play better on PS4 was actually on the FIFA ad,
Whoa.
and that just swung like hundreds of thousands of people going. Oh, I want to
It's something that means nothing as well. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just or play it first on
Yeah.
Xbox. Like you know,
Means- means
like it
nothing.
doesn't. It'll never play better. Like
Yeah.
if one console is better than the other, and the game is written well, it won't play better. Like
Exactly. It's
Yeah,
just
that's very
it's the
true.
way it's marketed,
they're
and-
just deals like to get advertising out.
But like, do you know, Bethesda was bought for $7.5 billion.
Billion.
That's incredible.
And Skyrim has sold in total over 30 million copies. And this is a number that I am blown away by. The average player spends over 150 hours in the game.
Yeah,
Average.
easy.
Average. So I
Yeah,
get you're saying Uber nerds own, but that's a pretty damning stat.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
that's over like hell of a lot of consoles as well. How many consoles
Yeah.
have been on?
What, the
360.
PS3, the
PS3,
Xbox
PS4,
360, 4, and the PC, so 5 altogether.
And the
Well,
Switch.
Switch now.
The Switch. Who bought
It's
it on the
honest,
Switch?
it's
No
honest.
one. It doesn't count.
It's on it.
I'm sorry, Switch players. I want a Switch. I like a
And
Switch,
then-
but
and
you're
then-
just
and
not
then
a thing.
And then Michael, right? 'Cause I know you're one of them. How many people bought the original version and then the remastered version?
No.
I did it too.
I not only did that, I bought the copy on the 360. I bought the copy on the Xbox One. I bought a copy on the PC, and I bought the Legendary Edition on the PC too.
Oh, so you just
they
need money.
gave you one of them for free, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they did.
They gave you like in the PC one. They just gave it the upgrade for free because you had it on.
Yeah. Sorry, you're
original.
correct. You're correct. Yeah.
What if they hadn't? You would have paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you?
No, and that's not a slide on it. That's how
No.
fucking good and pervasive
So,
that
like,
game is.
I'm going back to the whole idea of the exclusive and console war. Like that's Bethesda. Like I don't know if there's a game right now. Maybe FIFA, I'd say, would be probably the only game, or GTA, or a GTA game.
GTA is the biggest game out there, really.
Yeah, but like those two,
Is it
I'd
bigger
say.
than
don't-
FIFA?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
FIFA's massive.
Like,
I think-
It's the only thing I play, so I am biased here.
But
But I
play
think
it.
nearly everyone who would own FIFA would also probably own GTA, whereas not
Probably,
everyone
yeah.
who owns GTA
Not
would own
this guy.
FIFA.
yeah.
Yeah,
But they're the only two games I can think of right now that would make people like if you like at the start Xbox or PS4 would actually go,
Yeah.
well, which one has GTA, which one has FIFA? Like that would be they're the only two games at the moment I think that would swing it. Like
Call of Duty?
maybe, but there's so many of them. A lot of players now
Yeah.
have just gone online now.
yeah. People don't
yeah.
care as much about Call of Duty as
Yeah.
they used to.
So the best-selling games of the last decade: Grand Theft Auto 5, number one.
Huh.
Call of Duty, and this website's asked me to turn off my ad block, so I can't see it, but it starts with a B, so we're going to say Black something.
Black Ops.
Probably one of the Black Ops. Number 3, Owen, could you just move back from your mic a little bit? You're shouting. Yeah, just thanks. Jesus, wow. Jeez, wow. Wow, Owen. Then number 3 is Minecraft, not surprising.
No.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I'm assuming, is number 4, starts with an M. Then number 5, and this will tell you the decline of FIFA. Number 5, FIFA 14. Number 6, FIFA 13. Number 7, FIFA 15. Number 8, Call of Duty Blops 2. So Blops 1 is probably up there at number 2. Number 9, FIFA 11. And number 10, FIFA 12. So FIFA's been on decline for 5 years.
Yeah.
FIFA 11 was the best.
But they're still being sold at huge numbers.
Oh, there. Yeah, absolutely. But
now, and even now, with deals being done, we'll probably get onto it later on about the Game Passes and PS Nows, but EA Play now is part of Game Pass. So if you pay for Xboxes, like if you like subscription service, you get a load of EA games and all the FIFAs, not all the FIFAs, like FIFA 21, FIFA 20 and back is on it, but you get the discount.
I love Game Pass.
That's huge, actually. I don't have that. But like that's where I was going to come back around to Game Pass. So like, Mick, you said initially the first console you would buy would be the Series X. I'd go completely the other way because I was like, right now, the Xbox doesn't really have any games. Like Halo that was supposed to come out in it got delayed. And other than that, I think the biggest exclusive they have right now is called something like the Falconeer, which is supposed to be a cool game, whatever.
But I don't care about it. I'm not going to.
I don't care, but like the PlayStation has a good few kind of exclusives.
Horizon.
There's Spider-Man to Miles Morales. That one is
exactly. Spider-Man Miles Morales is already out. It's on.
That's unbelievable.
But
like they have a handful of games. They have a handful, not a huge amount. But the way I would put it was like initially, what I would do, in my standpoint, would be buy a PS5, and if I wanted to play all the Xbox games, I would build a PC and get Game Pass, and then I could get a better version of the Series X.
Yeah, but we've already
talked
about
everything. If we're talking about price, but it's like if you are in the mindset that you might build a PC in the next year or two, I don't think there's much point buying a Series X because you can get Game Pass. You can get literally every Xbox game. Like your PC can be a better version of the Xbox.
But that's you, Owen. If you're talking to the guy,
that's me. That's me. The guy off the street. Guy off the street.
You know, PS4 has it for it. Like I'd say, like I was thinking, I'd probably go PS4 at the start purely because of the exclusives. But I know
Darren's stuck in the past here. PS4,
PS5. Come on,
loser.
Well, if anyone wants to sell a PS4,
deals from Sony,
next gen.
Owen, get back from the mic, or I'm going to come through the screen and punch you in the face. You jump close to it again. Don't make me come over there.
Look, I'm just getting excited because there's an opportunity here to sell a PS4 to Darren for 500 quid.
I'll do it.
On that, fucking despicable people out there, if any of you listen, I think you should die in a well.
We do not suggest anyone dies in a well. Factually,
no, wait for it. I'm serious. I was on Facebook today, and this guy got a PS5. He was on one of those, Kilkenny or wherever.
Buy and sell things.
Buy and sell things. He had a PS5 up for 1,000 quid. 1,000. And every comment on it was like, are you serious? Is this the price? Like, is it a mistake? This is the price. I will get this price. This kind of shit. And like 1,000 quid. The console literally costs 500 in the shops. It will be available in January, available in February. You are literally doubling the price. So just to ruin people who want the console for their child at every Christmas. Exactly. No, that type of person can die in a fucking well.
I agree.
Supply and demand.
He's the type of person you'd swerve to hate rather than swerve to avoid. 100%. But
it's happening across the fucking world, like.
Oh no, 100%. Like it's shitty practice, but at the same time, like whatever parent is going, okay, I have to have this console. And spends $1,000 on it and then blames the person selling it for $1,000. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. As Jaysson said, supply and demand. Teach your child disappointment. They'll get over it.
Like you're feeding these people. I don't agree that it's supply and demand. I think you're artificially creating demand.
Well, yeah.
Still demand.
There's limited demand or there's limited supply.
Well, Sony have created this demand.
Oh yeah.
Sony created this man, but they're not releasing enough.
But if you give them pay 1,400 euros for the console, you've justified them doing that. Like,
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, at the same time, Sony aren't benefiting from someone spending 1,400
No.
quid. So that's not on Sony. And I think, it's fair to say the production lines everywhere have been affected by what's gone on this year. So they
I
probably
suppose
do
true,
have
yeah.
a reduced capacity. Everything is
Yeah.
at a reduced capacity. But if you go and try sell something for 3 times what it's worth, you're a shite hawk, 100%. But if you're one of the people who goes and buys a console for 3 times the price for one of their mewling children because they won't be able to listen to them if they don't get it on Christmas Day or whatever else, then you are part of the problem. Like literally, just teach your child disappointment. Buy them a new game for the console they probably already have. If you're that type of
Sure.
parent, they'll
But
get
like-
over it.
But no,
Mike
it's not
knows
even,
with his 5 children.
I have 6 now.
no, but it's not even that. Like, yeah, okay, teach them disappointment on Christmas Day, but like all you have to do is leave a note there saying, "Oh, we'll have it delivered to you in February or March, or whenever they're back, because it will be back out in February or March, like probably
100%,
January anyway."
and you'll
Yeah.
get bundle deals.
Yeah,
All you
exactly.
need to tell him is get a hurley, go outside there, puck a ball against the wall.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, Jaysson has lost connection. Terrible. He's just gone. He's
You
gone.
can't play Ireland.
so
You can't play Ireland COVID.
to bring us back onto topic, right? One thing I want to talk about as well is so we've already given our indication personally what we'd buy first. Jaysson, none of them because he has his Xbox One and is going to keep it for 10 years. You
Yeah, but
really
like,
get the value out of it.
Why? I don't see the appetite as there was in the last 2 releases to actually buy these new consoles.
I don't think-
am I just blind to it?
No,
Is there
I
actually-
don't. I don't think it's there as much because, like Eoin already alluded to, there aren't that many exclusives.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Right.
sorry, go on. Eoin.
Just you're right. For the next year or so, like this always happens every time there's a new generation. There will be the crossover games. So like FIFA, Call of Duty, all the big games will still continue to come out on both, and you've no need to upgrade until you can't get the games anymore.
Unless
yes.
you really want to see your game played in 8K on your 8K TV. But this is the other thing. It's not
You
just
need the
It's,
TV.
yeah, it's exactly. It's not just updating your console. Then you have to go and buy a ridiculously expensive TV as well. I still have a 1080p sharp TV that I picked up in Tesco like 6 years ago now, I would say.
Yeah, my thing.
Was it 6 years ago, Darren?
I'd say it was. We had that back in y'all when I was there. wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
6 years.
over 6 years. That's over 6 years, man.
Okay,
I
well, there you go.
looked at
That's
that 6
I have the
years ago,
same
yeah.
TV as then, and like it looks perfect to me. So, would I like a 4K TV? Sure, but like they're really expensive. Do you know what I mean?
Well, put it another way. I have a 4K TV, and like I want it now. All right, I want one of the new consoles now so I can play in 4K. But my 4K TV can only do 60 FPS, and these new games can do 120. And that means I would have to go buy another 4K TV for about 1,000, 1,200.
If you're Black Friday at the moment, guys, get on it. I saw an AK TV for over $2,000 at the moment. So yeah, get on it. It's down from 3.5.
Like you can get one,
Buy-
but I
buy a
don't
car
really
or
want to go
TV.
buy one. You know,
Oh, and move closer again.
move closer.
I don't know what's going on with your mic. Sorry.
I've turned down my input.
Okay, now you're perfect.
Yeah,
Stay
yeah.
there.
They're right
Um,
there. And put the fucking white claw down, you bitch.
Owen, cheers.
Piece of shit.
Good
Tink.
stuff.
Hey, how's your Coors Light?
Almost gone.
So,
Some
Man,
hard,
I'm open another.
hard man. Not.
I'm
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the cherry chocolate orange beer.
so that sounds amazing. But look, to kind of keep going with that vein of thought was this upgrade even needed? It's a leap forward, but like Owen said, are we even going to notice? Are we even going to be able to afford the infrastructure to really utilize it? And, I would argue, and I have argued multiple times in the past, one of the Hobbit films was shot in 60 FPS and it ruined the film. It looked like Fair City. It was terrible.
The first one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think all
We're
of
all
them.
of them.
Yeah,
I know there was one in particular that just looked terrible because here's the thing, like special effects and cinematics and stuff don't look good in like 60 FPS for whatever reason. I don't know. Is it because our brains are trained to watch them in 24? Is 24 it just looks that bit smoother and cinematic because you don't have, it's almost too real when it's 60 FPS. You know what I mean? It nearly takes away
There's just
from
something wrong. Your brain doesn't compute it, and it's just like there's something wrong here.
It's that soap opera effect. Like you
Exactly.
start to see it. Like, and I could play a racing game at 60 FPS and appreciate the difference, or maybe a shooter.
Yeah.
But anything
Definitely a
else,
shooter.
I'd actually like. So these consoles are giving you the choice for the first time, kind of like PCs. It's like, do you want the high resolution, so the 4K, or do you want 1080 and have the high frame rate?
Yeah.
And I think I'd agree with you, Mick. I'd go 4K and make it look beautiful, and then play it at like 30 because it's
100%.
it's more filmic. It would look cool. But there's another camp out there who are like, I'm happy with 1080 and I want it to look as smooth as possible, play 120 FPS, and they see that difference. But I appreciate the 30 more.
Yeah, like I even the game, my most recent game I bought on the Xbox One is Ride 4, which I'm really liking, and I think that's capped at like 30 something FPS. I think that's literally I think it's 36. That's where it's capped. It just goes that high and that's it. And it looks perfect. It's a really, really pretty game. I think, that particular publisher, Milestone, have kind of maxed out what they could do because it's no prettier than Ride 3. So I think they're using the architecture that's there, whatever the lowest common denominator is that they release on. I think that, they've hit their point in time. So, maybe there's an upgrade there. And maybe that's a good point, is that this upgrade is more for the people who really are pushing for, that smoother experience for those type of games. Maybe. But then on the other side of things, the Xbox controller has pretty much not changed. Now, again,
it didn't need to.
Exactly. Don't fix if it ain't broke. But the PlayStation have changed, and I'm really interested to see, is it any less shit? Because I really didn't like the PS4 controller.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. Like, no, don't get me wrong. It wasn't as good as the Xbox one. Like, because I said I have both. I don't know what is the size of my hands. I don't know what it is, but
man hands.
No, I just prefer the Xbox one. It just seemed more comfortable. Now, but then again, on the PlayStation 4, the PS4 Pro, Michael Pro. I don't know, when I was playing the games, it was fine, but like it wasn't as comfortable as the Xbox. But I got a kind of half nostalgic effect of going, oh, it feels kind of like a PS1, PS2, this kind of thing. So it was a kind of similar size to it. And I actually recently fixed somehow my PS2, the slimline one. I say I fixed it.
You hit it twice on the top.
Yeah, it worked.
Hair dryer on the back.
Yeah. So
PS2s were hard to kill, man. Like,
I still have mine.
This one, for some reason, the disk drive wouldn't spin, and then I hit it. No, and I did.
That's all the peanut butter and cum.
Jesus, Mick. So I started playing that again, and like I found that controller even more comfortable than the PS4 one.
Yes, definitely more comfortable.
That's what's mad. So like the 360 controller was like the first time the controller actually became a debate, I think. And everyone was like, oh man, PS3 controller is the same as the PS2. It's really small. And like that, Darren, everyone was like, I like the 360 more because it fits my big hands. And then I think the PS4 was the first time the controller actually finally got bigger.
Do you know what it is?
And I was fine with that. I was happy with that. I had no complaints with that controller. My complaint with the Xbox controllers has always been like AA batteries and big battery, like the 360 battery pack sticking out the back of it, getting in the way of my fingers, that kind of shit. But we're at the point now where the controllers are kind of as good as each other.
I disagree. I still disagree.
That's fair enough. That's fair.
The PS2 is a fantastic controller. And do you know what it had that none of the PlayStation controllers, and maybe the PS5 will be different to this, have not had since? Weight.
Wire.
It had substance. Now, also nice wire. Because the PS4 controller, the battery in it was shit. They were terrible.
Yeah. It's shocking. They
were so bad. I actually, do you remember I got the wired controller for the PS4 because I just couldn't stick it anymore?
You got the Nakon one or the Nakon.
Yeah. Like I spent a lot of money on it just so I could have a good controller.
Yeah, but like that's £100 or whatever it was then for the Nakon controller, whatever it is. It looks closer to an Xbox controller than a PS4 controller.
So it probably flips the sticks around.
It's far more
comfortable. The problem with the PlayStation controller and battery was like the big light that they put on the back.
Oh yeah,
stupid
light. That light just sucked battery. So you could turn that down and make it dimmer, but it's still you couldn't turn it off.
Yeah, you couldn't turn it off.
Like, I saw no reason for that light except once when I was playing God of War 3 Remastered. And if you changed weapons, it was different light for each weapon.
That light kind of fed into it. It was like if you had the VR or the camera or anything like that, you could show the light to the TV and then you could interact with it. It was still stupid.
It's stupid. It was stupid. It was too bright. And even if you play it in dark, which I often like to play with,
it's
most
distracting.
of the lights off, really distracting, especially. And this is going to be contentious. I feel this is going to be contentious, and I should nearly wait for Darren to come back, but we won't. We'll tell him what I've said. My favorite game. There's two of them. They're equal that I played on the PlayStation. Number 1, Horizon Zero Dawn, and number 2, The Last of Us. Both games.
Crash Bandicoot Team Racing, no?
I wish.
Just said my two. Jason, don't make me come over there and fight. Crash Bandicoot, yes, fine, but I still include that as
third.
I include that as like still a PS2 game.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
all of that generation, say Horizon Zero Dawn and The Last of Us, and both games encourage you to play in the dark. And then if you turned off the lights, because they're spooky, creepy in some parts, and you turned off the lights, you had this massive glowing yellow light shining everywhere. It's like, why can I not turn this off? Why?
The only time I ever thought it was anyway cool was playing GTA 5 on the PS4, and if the police are after you, you get the police radio crackling through the speaker on the PlayStation controller, and the light started flashing red and blue.
And then your controller dies.
That made you freak out. But that made you freak out a little bit. You're like, oh crap.
I don't know. It never made me freak out because I'm used to running from the police.
You're far too used to it.
It's all those people I've killed
and
eaten.
If Darren comes back, he can probably name your address for the guards to come and finally reprimand you.
I live in a shed in the woods.
Not untrue.
You see. So before Darren comes back, and we can close it off with him in the end, because I have one more point I want to bring up. But I think, are you going to upgrade? For me, yes. I want an Xbox Series X. The only reason I actually want it is to play Cyberpunk. The reason I don't want to buy Cyberpunk on the current generation is because it's going to be better on the new one. So that's why I want to upgrade, but I'm perfectly okay waiting until the middle of next year before I do that, because money. What about you, Jason? Are you going to upgrade?
Like, I will be probably forced to upgrade in a year and a half, 2 years, when they don't release the latest FIFA or something like that. But I think this is the step that they're going to lose the common gamer. It's gone. There's too many add-ons. There's too many accessories you have to get. Like, it's actually gone too high tech now, I think. Why wouldn't it would the best possible thing to do now, if you're just going to get FIFA every year, get a PC.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And just what you kind of touched on, microtransactions, and it's something we probably should have brought up, but microtransactions, it's why I don't play online anymore. Like GTA, microtransactions killed it. Call of Duty, even, all the microtransactions for all the extra shit killed it. Battlefield, you had people who just microtransaction their way to the top of every class, whereas I just wanted to play the game. All of those online games that I used to really, really love playing, I don't play anymore, and it is completely 100% down to microtransactions. So
I refuse to acknowledge them. Like, I'll never buy it. I won't buy it. It could be a €5, it could be €12, it could be €60. I just will not buy it, and it doesn't. Yeah, you've paid for full price. It's taken a lot out of a game that you've already, paid £70 for.
Yeah,
I think you wanted to mention, like, the games now, they're putting them up to €80.
Yeah. That was actually one of the last points that rounded it back. But yeah, they're gone more expensive again.
But the only thing I've noticed at the moment, which is I think quite a good thing, is if you're on the next generation, the PS4s and PS4s and Xbox Ones, and you buy a new game, they will give you the upgrade whenever you do upgrade to the PS5 or the next gen consoles.
Xbox will, PlayStation won't. There's a bit of
PlayStation are doing it.
To an extent. Some games are, some games aren't. Some games you buy the PS4 version, and if you get a PS5, you're still on the PS4 version, and you can buy an upgrade.
Oh, right.
Xbox is a lot better. They have a thing called Smart Delivery.
Oh, yeah.
That if the game has Smart Delivery, you get both, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, it is. That is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. the PlayStation is being a lot more anti-consumer in that regard, and it comes back to the PlayStation 4 sold so well that they feel like they can make these anti-consumerist moves now and sell these things on. And then coming back to what Jay said, I don't think you'll be left behind too soon because the PlayStation 4 sold so well. They're not too keen to completely abandon that audience too soon.
Yes.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, the install base is huge.
A massive install base is a good thing for you, but anyone who jumps to the newer ones is also going to be slightly held back by the newer game. So something like Cyberpunk that you mentioned, Mike, you if you want to play Cyberpunk optimally need to get the new console because Cyberpunk on the old equipment is going to struggle by the sounds of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And a lot of games are already starting to struggle in the other one. So the old consoles are going to start to hamper the new ones.
Definitely. Yeah. So it was the same in the previous.
They sold so well.
Yeah.
And until these ones start to sell well, we'll have a good crossover, good in some ways, bad in others.
I think bad in a lot of ways. Yeah, like even and sorry there, just 1 second before I forget this point. Like if you look at it, I completely agree with what Eoin was saying there about holding back the newer generation. If you look at that 100% happened for a long time when there was a 360, against the Xbox One. Games that were dual release really, really sucked in comparison to games that were just made for the Xbox One or whatever else. And it wasn't until we saw that clear delineation. Hello, cat. Excuse me. It wasn't until we saw that clear delineation where they said, right, we're not making them for the 360 anymore. We're only going Xbox One that you really started to see improvements.
Yeah.
Like so you got the Xbox One before me, Mick. Like we were in college, and I only had the 360. You had the one, and all right. And there's a few games I got for the 360, and one of them was the Assassin's Creed game. It was Assassin's Creed Rogue. It was only available on the 360. Ubisoft decided, right, Unity is going to be for the Xbox One, and then we'll have Rogue for the 360. And the funny thing that happened there was Rogue was basically a reskin of Black Flag, but it was a much better game than Unity. Didn't crash, didn't bug, didn't burn, right?
Unity killed the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Unity was a mess, yeah. Yeah,
it was an absolute mess. But and that's a pity because Syndicate afterwards, Mick, you played it like this year gone, and it's quite a good game.
It is. Yeah, it's good.
And I played all the games. I played Origins, I played Odyssey. I haven't got Valhalla yet, but each year they've improved. But they still haven't recovered from that fucking disaster that was Unity. But the other game I got was a WWE game, WWE 2K15, right? So it was 2K15. So the same game. So I threw it into the 360, and all the features they'd advertised was just for the one version. It wasn't for 360. So I plugged it in, and I literally had like fucking 3 things to do. Like all the main bits were on the one. And even at that, when I eventually got it for the one, it was still a fucking piece of shit game. I think I agree with Owen saying. I think you're both right. It's going to take a while for them to go, right, we don't need to care for 2 generations now. We forget the next gen, and now we're on to the next gen, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth noting that
had to be
next gen. Yeah.
You really want to get that in.
Me and Owen should explain. When we were in college, me, Mick, and Owen lived together.
It was pure jealousy of Mick that we still decided we were on next gen.
Yeah,
and Mick was on next gen.
Which is a ridiculous statement.
All the advertisements we had for the 360s and the PS3s when we had it were the next generation of consoles. Next gen, yeah. Then Mick got the next generation console, but we had to call it next gen.
But I hate you people because as soon as mine was released, it was current gen and yours was previous gen.
It was the best way.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It was like in 30 seconds, me and Daz could look across the room and be like, right, we'll just bring up next gen, and we're like, Mick is going to be furious.
That's because it was just wrong.
It was wrong. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's what I was going to say. It was like the crossover in generations is what's hampered the Xbox in having any exclusives right now. So the Halo game, apparently, that was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Hello.
Because they're trying to get it to run on Xbox One, I think is what's causing a lot of the issues.
And a lot of the
until
delays in
they fully
Cyberpunk.
commit. Exactly. Until they fully commit to crossing over, it probably isn't worth getting the new games for the mass audience. It probably isn't worth getting the new consoles. So stick to what you have, or get a really good deal on the PS4 and Xbox One. You have a massive back catalog there.
Huge.
But if you're mad into your games and you're mad into your graphics and you are a nerd and you know all this stuff that we've been talking about already,
And you have 1,000 quid or 500 quid to spare.
yeah.
Or
don't spell the £1,000 and
Or-
go and get these consoles, But
or an idiot like me who has an essentially 10-year-old TV and is still going to get the Series X just so I can, play a game that I won't even notice the graphical improvements on. Really, you could also do that.
I saw a photo of someone playing a PS4 on like a CRT, I don't know how they managed to do it. You need like a digital to analog converter, which I don't know.
It costs like 30 or 40 quid.
No. That's analog to digital. I don't know if there's such thing as the other way around to make your stuff work backwards.
You gotta take your hat off then. That's enterprising.
Well, I thought that was hilarious that someone got it to work on a really ancient TV. It'd be like, and the tweet was, "Hey, I don't see any difference."
So, Darren and Owen, myself and Jason have already answered, are we going to get the next generation of console? I suppose they're current gen now because they're actually released. So,
I'm going to
Owen,
get the next gen.
Owen, are you going to get the next gen?
I'll get a PS5 when I can. I actually took a day off during the week. I'm not a massive gamer, but I took a day off during the week and I was like, you know what? It'd be kind of exciting. I'll buy into the hype and I'll try and get one of the PS5s because multiple retailers were trying to sell them. Website crashes everywhere.
Yeah.
If I got it, I would have been excited. I didn't. I'm not that disappointed. It'll come out. Like me taking one now is probably taking one out of the hands of some kid for Christmas.
No,
Monster.
you did not bring that up. No.
And it's helping some parent pay 1,400 quid stupidly for some scalped one.
That's bullshit. Do you work to earn your money?
Quid.
I do. No, I get where you're coming from, but like,
fuck those kids.
I'll get one when I get one.
No, don't you ever say those words again. You like games. You work for your money. You are just as entitled to buy a new console as some shithead kid getting given one by their parents. I'm sorry. I disagree with that statement on a basic level. You're not taking console out of a kid's hands.
And
fuck those
That kid's crying. Like,
I agree
literally
with you.
fuck them.
But I agree with you because that kid is then just going to get the PS5 and put on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Oh,
No
yeah.
point.
We never even mentioned that, actually. Yeah. Oh, before Darren and Owen answer the question, are they going to... Well, as Darren, because Owen already answered it. The highest selling games at the moment are absolute and utter shite. Fortnite is shite. And yes, I gave it a go. It's shite. What's the Call of Duty version of
Warzone.
it? That's shite too. That's terrible. Oh, absolutely awful. And this is what
PUBG.
people are playing. Like, you're not going to utilize or maximize your utilization of the new console in any way, shape, or form if you're playing something that looks like it was drawn by a potato with ADHD, which is Fortnite, by the way. It's terrible.
It will look the very same on the PS5. Yeah, for anyone thinking about getting one out there for their kid, it's going to look exactly the same. It's going to play the exact same.
Yeah, if
Until
they play
they do
Fortnite, don't buy a new console.
They'll do a massive update in 2 years' time, and it might help a bit. But like, yeah, no point.
It won't. It'll still be shit.
Okay.
Darren, are you going to get the next gen?
Aaron loves Fortnite. Just to...
I do not. No, I go back to what I said earlier. Well, it's like just on the online. I see your gorilla, Michael. Thank you. Stop distracting me. I'm trying to make a point. No, I will get next gen. I probably will start off purely because of exclusives. I'll start with the PS5 and then go to the Xbox, but I'll still keep my Xbox One and my PS4 anyway. But it won't be till next year. Like maybe I normally wait till like summertime. When people are out playing sports, I
get some bundles.
Yeah, but the exclusives are the things that kind of get me. Like, say on the PS5 now, I've lined up to the Assassin's Creed. It's not Assassin's Creed. The Spider-Man, the new God of War, the new Zero Dawn, the new Horizon game. Sorry. Ratchet and Clank, these ones, like they're the ones I'm a pure story game guy. Like I hate the online gaming. Even when I had the 360, I wanted a story. I didn't go online for Call of Duty or anything. I can't be fucked. and it's only happened now, I play consistently online, is Star Wars Battlefront 2. That's only because my cousin is playing and we play together. So it's it's that. It's not that it's a fun game, but it's like I'd much rather give me a story mode and I'll play that for 100 hours, whatever it is. Give me that. And like, I think purely on that, I think the PS5 probably my first protocol because they have the story-driven exclusive games that I know that are coming. And then if the Xbox can give me, or if Microsoft can give me story-driven exclusive games, I'll probably buy that then and then go, right, I'll buy that and then have both of them. But like at the moment it's PS5 purely because I am the gamer that's pure story made like on my own. Like I don't care for online games or any of that microtransaction, any of that stuff. I just want to get lost in the world. And at the moment, the PS5 exclusives have it. But like,
I'd agree with that. And like, I'll get the PS5 first. But if I want the Xbox, I probably will end up building a PC. But that's just me. That's just my use case, you know.
Looks like I'm the odd one out piece of shit again.
Well, but even me now, I will buy Assassin's Creed Valhalla in probably the next 2 weeks on the PS4 because I know that will upgrade then to the PS5, right? And I'll probably do the same for.
Does it upgrade in the PS5? Just double check.
Yeah, no, you buy the if you buy the PS4 version, it gives you the PS5 version. Yeah, okay, 100%. I've checked it many times to be sure. But they have then the whole thing with transferring your game across and all that's pretty cool. But definitely PS5 first, purely on the exclusives, and then we'll decide then on the Xbox.
Yeah. I bought Call of Duty. I bought the new Call of Duty as like a consolation prize for my day off on Thursday, not on the PS5. Bought the new Call of Duty, the crossover version. So I was like, right, I'll play the multiplayer on my PS4 and I'll keep the story until PS5 and it'll look cool, whatever.
And they put a story into this one?
It's supposed to be all right.
Yeah, they still do story modes and all of them.
Wasn't there one game that they didn't and everyone hated it?
No, I think they always had some token story mode.
No, there was definitely one. It was the one, the Black Ops that had zero story.
Infinite Warfare. I don't know if
I haven't played it in a long time.
Yeah, its story. If it had a story, its story was so off the wall, stupid. That
but there was genuine. There was one that had zero story.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think all of our advice is if you really want one, get one, but you probably don't need one for several years anyway. And they're actually pretty good value for what they are.
100%. Yeah,
that's fair. I think that's fair. Darren, do you want to tell us what's coming next on Sheep on Acid episode 3?
Oh, sorry, because first of all, it was Black Ops 4 without a traditional single-player campaign mode. Sorry, just on that.
Okay, well, that's a piece of shit. Go for it.
Yeah, no, that's right. Okay, so next week on Sheep on Acid, we're going to be looking into
the eyes of a sheep on acid.
The eyes of a sheep on acid.
And also UFOs.
Oh, yeah, the UFOs. Thank you. Sorry, I'll do that again. Next week on Sheep on Acid, we are going to be looking into all the UFO sightings that have happened in 2020 and
the revelations.
Looking back further, what?
The revelations of UFOs.
Revelations of UFOs, because as we all know, the major talking point this year was COVID and COVID related. There have been an unprecedented amount of these UFO sightings or revelations. So we're going to be looking into that and see how and see what they are, how they are, and are they coming back to reclaim Jesus' foreskin inside the temple?
That's a question that needs to be answered. The people need to know. So you have been sheep and we have been acid. Thank you very much for listening and lending us your ear holes. We very much do appreciate it. That's 2 episodes down. If you did miss the first episode, as Jaysson said at the very start, please do go back and give it a listen. It covers everything from orgies to foreskin. Very, very important topics. And until next time, we shall speak into your ear holes then. Owen, do your outro bit.
Yeah, I need to say it on the new mic. So
yeah.
We'll be back next week in pod form.
Beautiful. Goodbye.
Bye.